Well, today is National Appraiser Day for the GP Appraisers of Wales. It's an annual event, and this is our 11th National Appraiser Day. And today is probably a step change in the way that we're looking at appraisal in the context of revalidation, but more importantly, the context of appraisal as an educational assistant for doctors to help with their development, to ensure that their development fits in with GMC requirements, however, in a very sort of supportive way. We're nearly at the end of the first cycle of revalidation. The GMC required all doctors to go through a revalidation process within 3 years of the onset of revalidation, and we're nearly there. With very little trauma. We're going to hear from some research that we've done within Wales that the impact of revalidation on the appraisal process for doctors is much smaller than we actually feared when it was introduced. We'll hear that our appraisers in Wales had more worries than the actual doctors in Wales about the revalidation process. We'll also see that we are producing appraisal summaries to a very high standard. Having had a recent quality assurance day was fantastic as usual, and the enthusiasm of our appraisers shines through.
So what's happening today is that we have the 11th annual appraiser training day for GP appraisers in Wales. Obviously been running since we kicked off this business back in 2004. It's usually a very successful event. We tend to have a high turnout from the appraisers, and they seem to value not just the content of the day, but the opportunity to network with each other and with the office and other members of the deanery team. Well, the future is very interesting in that we're in the first cycle of revalidation at the moment, and there's a set template of information that people have to bring to their annual appraisal in order to support a recommendation for revalidation over a 5-year cycle. And already we're about 3 months into the third year. Something like 220,000 doctors across the UK have been revalidated, so everything seems to be very well on target. But soon there will be a conversation about what the second cycle might look like and whether there needs to be any change to any of the processes or any of the content, and perhaps what level of lay and patient input we have into the process, which exists at the moment, but it may well be that needs to be modified or enhanced. It may well be that some of the component parts of the supporting information need to be tweaked. It's a debate that's yet to take place. There's a lot of research going on at the moment across the UK, some sponsored by DH England and some by the GMC, and the results of that are probably not likely to be available before the start of the second cycle, but we will need to be taking a view across the UK, so that will include the GMC, the professional groups, colleges, and also lay and patient input into what revalidation looks like now, how successful it's been, and whether it needs much modification for the future.
I think revalidation has been accepted by GPs in Wales, and the last 5 years has shown that it's gone, I wouldn't say without hiccups, but fairly smoothly. In the future, I think it's a lot of it is doing the same, but doing it better and maintaining the educational focus of appraisal in Wales, and perhaps integrating more, or trying to get GPs to address their learning needs perhaps a bit more.
My practice as a whole, I think it's encouraged me to make sure that I cover all areas of practice and more document the evidence of that in my own learning, rather than purely realise that I've done it. I think it's probably made me more selective in what I present for my appraisal as well, because it is important that certain boxes are ticked, but I don't think it's really changed the essence of it being an opportunity to reflect on what I've done, and also an opportunity to plan for the future and identify my learning needs and discuss that with a peer. That's the major advantage of what we do, really.
Well, Mars is a sophisticated website. It basically is, as it says, it's a revalidation and appraisal system. So what happens is a doctor will use Mars to facilitate the whole appraisal process. They'll book their appraisal online, they'll upload their appraisal information, and the appraiser will view it online and then have a face-to-face meeting with them, and it will be all recorded in one place. It also gives them an opportunity to assess their progress towards revalidation, because the appraiser is marking off on a revalidation progress page how well they've done in terms of their information. And that is then accessed by the responsible officer, who is most likely the medical director and the health board, who will be able to basically use that information to make a revalidation recommendation to the GMC. So it enables a complete circle of appraisal and revalidation in one place.